It went and gone. We're back in the saddle again. So we got a few things to go over today. Thanks for coming. So I didn't put on the review old minutes because I didn't know if we were going to have any, but Kim said we could do that under what to do?
Under the retreat item,
Retreat. Okay.
review the retreat.
So we'll do that when we get down there. So looks like there's quite a few here today. So I'm just talking about monthly meeting time. I know we struggled about that. I know Kevin in the hospital can't come on the Wednesday mornings every Monday, so he would not be able to come to this. So but it looks like quite a few are here. This is a good time, or the lunch time might be better, or maybe others could come, or an evening time. We got a lot here, or is this the best time?
Sure. Yeah, this is a good time for me.
Looks like a good crowd. I wouldn't mess with it.
Okay. I think the Nebo might not be able to come either. Okay, we'll just leave it this time, and second Wednesday of each month.
That's happening now every month.
Yep. Okay, golf event.
Woo,
So we have that coming up here. I'll give you these, so if you know somebody that you think ought to come, I'll pass it down. So this committee is one that really ought to be out promoting this and finding the people that we want to come. Like if it's a nice restaurant or some retail store or something like that, or even out in the business parks and businesses. This is a time to recruit them, get them to Payson. We're gonna do it a little bit different this year, and then I'll have Chris tell what we have right now. So we have the helicopter ride, but we decided to do it a little different because it kind of slowed it down and they played through and doing the helicopter ride. So the helicopter ride is gonna be from 7:30 to 10. So you need to be there early to have the helicopter ride. So if you talk to people, tell them that you need to be early to have a helicopter ride, and also the Mathis tent will be open from I think 8 to 10. So if you get there early, you can do shopping in the tent, and we're gonna have some other fun prizes and things to do in that period of time. So
What tent is that?
Travis Mathis.
Travis Matthews too.
Yes, Travis Mathis, yeah.
Waffle Love Truck will be
150.
there.
Oh, Waffle Up Truck will be there. Jimmy John's gonna do the lunch.
Massages will be there.
So anyway, that's kind of the format, then we'll have a scramble. So anyway, try to find some people that you think would want to come to see Payson and sell on Payson.
What time do you tee off?
That 10. Okay,
Do we know who's coming so we don't like double dip?
yeah.
I can go over that
Okay.
in a second.
So we do have, it's funny because we have a lot of sponsors. We've done really good with sponsors and getting the people here that want to come. Like, I think the mayor has some people from Lowe's coming, so we've got some people coming, but we just need to beef that up. But we have a lot of sponsors. We have a lot of interest in this, but we just need some of these other people to come. So maybe Chris, you can kind of go who's coming.
We have Utopia, Republic Services, Benyon Vet Home, which, I mean, these guys are,
Sponsors.
most of these are sponsored right now that I'm saying. Impact Utah, South Haven Homes, MAG, Mountain Land, Intermountain Nutrition, Zion Public Finance, Olson Garden, Rustler Investment, which is Dan Shaw. That's still good? Yeah. MTech, Mountain View Hospital bringing 2 teams. They're sponsored, but they're bringing 2 teams just because they like to bring in like doctors, and he's really good about bringing people that will benefit Payson. We have the commissioners, EDC. I have UDOT down.
Yeah, they're the guy I need to call and talk to today. But Marshall Wilson's got some contacts
with the advent of what the state legislature done, it kind of merged, at least for the front runners, at least like that, UDOT and UTA. And there were some key players there that Marshall Wilson knows that he would like me to invite personally. And he's gonna do two teams too with MJG. And,
We have it now.
so one of his teams will have some UDOT people on it as well. So he's out there trying to get, you know, that's what he does, you know, and in some ways kind of self-serving, but other ways it really helps Payson City as well, so.
We have a couple of people from Lowe's coming, Joe's Paint Glass is coming. I have True Religion Restaurant down, I don't know if they're still bringing a team.
That would be Jim Lenny and his finance guy, his brother and other son, so.
Sweet.
Does everybody know who Jim Lenny is? You know, she mentioned True Religion is a restaurant in Orem.
Yeah.
We're really whining and dining, and he's really serious about maybe bringing over in the building that we've got on Main Street, his restaurant, so.
You haven't ever eaten there, it's good. It's the good stuff. WIPC, MJG, two teams, UTA, I have down.
Yeah.
Woodbury and Todd. There you go.
UTA is,
Stuart Tainted.
UTA, it's the, trustee, Jeff Aitchison, he's gonna be with him, so.
That's what I have so far.
Oh, county commissioners?
Yeah, they're on there.
Yeah. So we have we have a lot of local support, a lot of good support, but we still need to get some of those people we really want to get here. I've been trying to get somebody to bring Winco down, I've been trying to get somebody to bring Home Depot and.
So with Woodbury coming, would they be willing to do another team?
I
And-
talked to him yesterday about that. He said, bring some people you're trying to bring here. And
Right.
It's not just yourselves. But we want them to come because they do have big influence of what's going on, but we want them to bring people. That's the whole point of this.
We keep trying to get Home Depot to bring some in that, and the real estate guy did when he just doesn't play golf, and I talked to him, and he has all the contacts, and both guys just don't make golf, so.
So many teams is that, Chris?
So we're
25.
25, so we want to be about
plus Todd.
plus about 30.
25 and a once-in.
Yeah,
Payson usually doesn't like to be over 30.
Right.
And you can go up to 36, but that's really,
For sure.
yeah, that's
So
really.
it is the 25th. I had it on my calendar for October.
no, it's September 25th, it's Wednesday. So it's 2 weeks away,
Yeah.
not too far. So,
Anyway, if you just, see if you can find some people and invite them to come and they had to RSVP.
September.
Any questions about the golf now? People always say it's one of the best ones in the state, so. Okay, committee reports and assignments. So we just had let me pass these out. So everybody kind of remembers our committees.
Mhm.
Okay, so we just had the golf committee report, so, Ty's not here. So, let's do, I know one of the committees doing really good is Mark, so Mark, can you give us a report on your committee and what's happening?
Sure, yeah, we put together, as you know from last time on the retreat, we put together with UVU, an online survey for businesses. Jim's been involved with us too, and allowing them to be able to tell us what are their needs, if they need special projects, internships, things like that, that would help their business to grow. Sometimes you don't know what you don't know, and having students there to be able to bring their expertise can be helpful. And there's students who are interested in, just doing it to get class credit versus getting paid. I mean, there's both, but, the idea is to be able to combine those. And so currently we're working with Dory Perez. She does have a really high need and she is a big player in Payson City. But she needs techs to work on her RVs. And there's not really a good educational program locally. I mean, you can go down to, I think she said Texas and, yeah, and there's some other places, but for her to do it herself would be cost prohibitive. They've tried to hold kind of training seminars and anyway, long story short, she would like to partner with MTech and UVU to see if they have classes like auto work or construction that's similar with the same skill set and working on their RVs. And so we're going to do a tour of her facility because I was talking to escapes my mind, the guy who's working with us from UVU. Anyway, he's got a new person that's gonna go tour the facility with us and our committee to take a look at how their shop's set up and get to know them better. And we really want to use them as kind of our first run and have a success story with them. If we can feel like we can meet their needs and help them get the techs they need. And there's other positions. I mean, there's accounting they need, there's sales they need. But we feel like if we can get students to come in and really help them have a good experience and get to where, close to where they need to be, then we can start opening up to some other businesses gyms that we know about that could be interested as well. But we want to kind of do proof of concept first and then use that as a success story. So it's taking us a little longer than we anticipated, but we certainly understand their needs better. And I think MTech and UVU are ready to help. And so, in fact, we've got over at Nebo as well, we're going to have Dory meet with, there's a guy over at the auto shop there that is one of the instructors to meet with him and see if there may be some potential for crossover there for students who are doing auto shop repair, but may be interested in working on RVs in a climate controlled environment, which is pretty nice. So, so we're still reaching out, trying to help make connections and see what's the best fit there.
I think another thing you've done is you have, on a website, you have all the contacts of the different universities for the internship programs.
Right, correct. Yeah. Yeah.
And I did talk to Dory yesterday, they did get an intern, so.
Oh, good. Good.
So they're really excited about that. So.
Yeah, our job is really just to make the connections between UVU and MTech. They can, if they fill out the form, it'll go straight to them and we'll get a CC on it as an email. So we're aware of what's progressing. But the idea is to help them connect a little better and with the students than what they are currently. They've got their own outreach programs, but nothing specifically geared towards Payson City. We've got lots of opportunities here, so.
Anybody have any questions for Mark? You're doing a great job.
So I suggested that Lynn at PPC might have needs in that realm as well to get text for your equipment and machines and operators. That you might be the next good case study.
Yeah, and I'm on the MTech Advanced Manufacturing Board or Advisory Committee anyway. So we looked through that.
Oh, so you've kind of worked with them, trying to
Yeah.
get your people trained and that are in classes and things.
Yeah. There hasn't been a great fit yet, but
So their advanced manufacturing class that they'll have here doesn't.
well, if it was here, it would be better. The problem is it's all been in Lehigh. And once you get, there's a lot of advanced manufacturing between here and Lehigh, so.
So
we
does,
can get them trained.
would that class kind of help with the equipment you have, or is it not gonna be
Somewhat
specific
like
enough?
maintenance, yeah. I mean, that's the thing, it's not specific
Right.
enough, which isn't a bad thing, but if it's general maintenance or whatever, and that's when you start losing everybody.
Is graphic design a big need as well?
Graphic design's a need, but it's, again, not specific. They want to do graphic design as web design
Yeah.
and everything else, and this is very specific production.
Or printer.
Artists,
Out of
yeah.
it.
But yes, we would more than be happy to talk to it and see what we do.
Who do you work with? Is it Jen Gibson or is it?
They've changed it's kind of the secretary, so.
And McKay Isham is the guy our contact at EDB is working closely with, and he's been really good to work with. I mean, these are a lot of individuals who are pretty vested to help to make this work beyond just, you know, their own job duties. I mean, they live here pretty locally, and McKay's in Spanish Fork, and so they like to see it grow.
One thing about March committee, they're meeting every month, so there's something happening all the time, so. And we know it takes time, but thanks for doing that. So we did, so we got golf and Jim, business retention committee, anything to do there?
Yeah, we haven't met in quite a few months. I've been focused on chamber retention lately and have not, which is related to business retention, but we haven't really been in something.
So Robert, I have something for you on this. One time we used to get like a monthly report of the new businesses that signed up and the ones that had dropped off in Payson. And that's really helpful, just to kind of know where we are, so we can kind of keep a running tally, I guess, of what's happening. Kind of gives us a feel for that.
Could we get like one kind of starting point list? Here's all the businesses that are active licenses in the city right now.
Yes.
Okay, I'll give you a report on the downtown committee. I guess everybody's been downtown, seeing the new streetscape and everything. It's kind of funny, there's been some complaints about it, but I don't know.
Not many, no.
No, I think
haven't read
it's a 10-1, I think 10 people like it versus 1 people, I think that's pretty good.
What do they like about it?
Well,
Parking.
Yeah. We had a lady come and really rail us over the falls on city council night, but I think she was the exception, I know she's the exception. But one of her complaints was, well, she said it's beautiful, but it's not practical. Well, you know, it's. And then she talked about the little, the creek and how hard it is to get over. One of my customers supposed to jump it. Well, as I looked at it, she's got a ridge going right up to her front door. So it's just a matter of opinion. It's very functional. It is beautiful, and the compliments I've got of product, I could say.
So we got a couple of things that we need to work on in downtown. She actually said that 8 businesses are closed because of the construction.
And there's, well, according to her, there was 36 businesses downtown, and I'd like to know where she get 36 businesses downtown.
That's a little bit of a stretch.
Yeah, and there's been time stretched to see if there's any that have really closed. There's been one that I'm aware of that's actually closed, and that wasn't related to this, to the remodel.
Yeah, and there's another business moving into that spot that's.
There is, I almost said yesterday. But then there was another business that came into next to the Mexican, pastry shop, the pizza.
Well, the
place.
Andy's Pizza, yeah.
And, you know, that's been, and so I'm not aware of any.
Center of the Universe came in at Eli's.
Yeah.
So they're both open.
And where my sister-in-law's place was that Seagull Books had taken over, they didn't close because of, they just took the machinery to so much. It's an important decision. So I don't think there is one. It's been hard for all of the businesses, but I don't think there's even one that's closed because of what we did.
So anyway, so to keep the synergy going for downtown is that, we have there's an ordinance on the books for Payson, but it's never been applied to the downtown, but it's to kind of keep, so you don't have manufacturing come in on the main floor, like the Siegel building. I mean, what did that help downtown to have Siegel putting their frames in there, nothing open? So we're working on, beefing up that ordinance and then applying it to the downtown, so you get your service industries on the upper floor, the basement, the retail, the venture type things on the main floors. But UVU has an upper level class that they're gonna be working on some of that work, they're gonna work on the design guidelines for our buildings downtown, they work with some individual buildings that work on on, doing the ordinance, so we can overlay that. So if you have any ideas on that, it'd be great. Also, yeah,
So is there a way to get in the ordinance, like open hours that businesses on Main Street need to be open certain hours of the day or?
I,
Kind of prevent activities from taking up space and not being open.
yeah, I think that's more of an educational thing, because you have to go tell them that 70% of the business is after 5 o'clock. And I think it's an educational thing. I don't know if you probably could do that, but I don't think that's something you want to put.
I don't think that you could enforce that
Right.
at all.
It's a business model, and we gotta have the flexibility of the business model, so.
And we actually, with the last update to the list of permitted uses in our different zones. Currently, the downtown area is covered by what we call the central commercial zone. And so we did actually a lot of updates similar to what Brian is talking about, to say, if you're having like an insurance sales or something that's maybe not as engaging, those businesses need to be on like the second floor or the basement. No manufacturing unless there's a retail space that goes along with that. So I think the city council adopted that ordinance last week.
So like insurance companies wouldn't be allowed to run on the main floor?
Preferably no,
So-
because you want your main floor to be engaging,
Right.
right? And to be that experience. And I mean, I don't know about you all, but when I go visit my insurance agent, it's not
Not engaging.
there wasn't a real tax sale there that went on, so.
And usually you do it over the phone.
Yeah, or
email.
online,
Yeah.
so
So I suppose the two insurance companies that are there now,
they're grandfathered. of
Everybody
course.
that's there
Yeah.
is grandfathered in.
Even Siegel Book would have been grandfathered in,
but moving forward.
but moving forward, that type of use could not come in unless they had, like, if they were a print shop and they were doing different things in the back of manufacturing, but they had a retail component in front.
Which Morris Building does, they have.
Yeah.
They have a retail. It takes up a lot of space, but they have a retail.
So, let me see, there was something else I was gonna say about the downtown, so.
So what about the ties nonprofit downtown, Main Street group? Is that linked to the EDC? What is the relationship between? the
One
city?
that I had. So
Yeah.
So they work together, the city and the historic downtown. So the historic downtown is tied into the Utah Main Street program, and they have 3 different tiers. And the National Main Street program, so we're at tier 1 and we're trying to become a tier 2. You can get some grants from the state if you're a tier 2.
Is that kind of that organization's commitment is to raise that tier level?
Right, and just to help the downtown in general, this UVU class is coming through the Main Street program too, from the downtown, so they're actively, they have meetings and they're actively trying to help the downtown, so it's a joint effort with the city and the downtown organization, but they're the ones that are working with the Main Street program and UVU and things like that. So,
in order to benefit totally, that's one of the reasons, we went to the National Main Street, organization, so that the state required us to be part of that, so we can be part of that. Right, is that, I'm understanding that right?
yeah, yeah. So I think we just need to keep we invest a lot of money, and we just want to have this the heart and soul of Payson and work with this committee too, and the city working with this committee to keep this going and become a destination point for Payson, and also for our residents to have it, feel like this is our home. I know that when we do the surveys, they want to have a hometown feel. This is gonna be our hometown feel there with Memorial Park.
So we're gonna mention you, the engineer that we met with yesterday.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, is the youth, that class. Anything else about the downtown area?
Oh, trash cans. Are there any trash cans yet?
They're on order. Yeah, they haven't arrived.
Yeah, all those gas covers look like trash cans until you get there.
Yeah, there's still lights coming and
No.
we have string lights go across the streets. We have, some, propane like fire pits. We have some tall, the propane heaters, so we can get some outdoor dining, things like that.
Are you gonna be able to hang any kind of banners, like announcing events or anything?
On the pole, the, light poles, I think there's a thing that hangs.
So just the
Banners can be on
flag
like-
banners,
Yeah, not the ones that go across.
Right.
so pole banners.
Yeah, some of those buildings aren't in the best shape, so it's really hard to hang.
Close the building down, right?
Serious.
Yeah.
Can't get the bolt in.
Okay, the next meeting, Dan's not here, but, strategic plan, website, messaging, we need to work on that. I want to get that done like the next few months, but maybe Dave, you could tell us about messaging, what the city's done. Hiring somebody
On the what? Oh,
messaging.
yeah, we hired the same person that the chamber did. She's been helping us get posts out on social media and Instagram, Facebook, and other things. And this is starting to work out well. In fact, she just texted me this morning. We're just trying to put out the positive things that happen. You know, you always get on the Payson yard sale and others. It's always so negative, but I think it's starting to make a difference just to show the things that are going out. And she's making it positive, and she usually posts 4 or 5 things a week. Events that we're doing. So far, I think it's working okay. We still have to get people following and do that, but we've had a Payson yard of the month each month this summer. We're gonna do I think she may have already posted this, but we're gonna do a yard of the month for Halloween. People that I get some nominations for that, and then do one for Christmas, just to get people, you know, taking care of their yards. And so that'll be the first time we've done that for Halloween and Christmas. But I think it's good. All of our departments have been giving her information to put out there, and we're tying our police department, fire department, their websites, golf course, and all things, so we can just get, you know, do a better job at letting people know what's going on in the cities.
Tell our story. We got a great story.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dave. Then the last one's, business recruitment, but a lot of that's with the golf event, but we haven't done any much more with that. Well, we have done a lot with that. I think we've been out talking to people, and we've got some things that we'll go through a little bit, some of the things that are happening, so.
Yeah,
Are you gonna
like
speak,
herding cats sometimes.
Yeah,
are you gonna speak to the state, changes and?
oh, yeah, you want to tell them, Todd, what's happened with EDC Utah?
Be curious to get your perspective. So I'll give an overlay, but I'd love for your understanding. So, EDC Utah had a contract with the state of Utah for recruitment, and, the state decided not to, renew that, contract as of July 1st. At that point, GOEO started to build their own economic development team, and so they have 3 business development managers at the moment. They have a research team. Their intent is to focus in on what the governor is keyed in on relative to the primary industries, financial services, tech, aerospace and defense, life sciences, and value added or advanced manufacturing. Those will be the only industries that will be able to receive incentives. That will be their focus of attention. EDC Utah, from that point, scrambled a little bit, and there was a need to have a chamber step in and help them. And effectively, they have combined with the chamber, Salt Lake Chamber. Derek Miller, the director there, would suggest that he's not interested in running EDC Utah, so they will still need to have a value proposition and need to succeed or fail based on whatever they put forward.
Okay, so we are a member of EDC Utah, and so basically any of the incentives are working with GOEO. Governor's Office of Economic Development. The only one that really fits us very much is the advanced manufacturing. We aren't gonna probably be much with the tech or the life sciences or the aerospace, because we just aren't more areas to really work on. So we only really have one area probably that's really helps us very much, but one of the shifts that the EDC Utah is doing is helping, because they couldn't not do this when under the state mandate, is they're gonna work on retail with the cities a lot. So they're gonna help more with a lot more with retail, which should help us. So that's one advantage of this. So we've got two entities to work with now, EDC Utah and GoYo. And GoYo has reached out to us, and EDC Utah both have reached out to us. I think there might be some advantages in having this way, because we got two resources to work with. So I don't know if that's your perspective, Todd, or not, but
Potentially, I think this really, you've had a conversation with EDC Utah, and they're trying to, I know, figure that out. And what I would say is that there's gonna be a pretty strong push towards regionalism for economic development like never before. So whereas it was centralized really well between the state organization and EDC Utah and the state, now with a couple of different programs. One is the rural outreach program. There's 5 rural outreach managers now that cover the entire state. They're heavily connected into economic development, and even though this is not considered rural, I think that's an area that should be leveraged, and that again is regionally based. Northern Utah Economic Alliance was established about 5 years ago. EDC Utah was part of that process to start with, but it knit Weber and Davis County together for recruitment. They now are completely independent of EDC Utah. That happened actually before the contract decision by the state. So they're functioning as a completely separate regional economic development organization. I can tell you that down south, St. George area and that regional area, they're beginning to coalesce, and that will be a regional EDO, I'm sure, within the next couple of months. So then the question will be for Utah County in particular, is there a push to consider regionalism there? And I don't know what that looks like, but that's a potential thing to pay attention to.
with EDC Utah, so they are still gonna have site selectors and bring people in, like right now, we're working with one that actually had a site visit set up in October. Is because GoYo is only gonna work with those 5 areas. And so if there's anybody else that's not in those areas, EDC Utah can, with all the connections, can still bring people in. So one of them that we're gonna have come down and site selection is, there's a company out of, I think, France, that turns waste into hydrogen. So they're looking at our landfill, our plant here, our sewer plant, things like that.
Like Back to the
To
Future.
put up a plant and change it into hydrogen, and there's a few places in Utah that use quite a bit of hydrogen. And one nice thing about it, if you do something like that, your landfill ends up being about 20% of the waste left, because you get rid of a bunch of machinery and people and things like that. So we do have a site visit from that from EDC Utah coming up. So
Are
So-
either of you familiar with Utah Rising?
Yes.
So that's kind of all involving the EDC.
Potentially, had a meeting with Derek 2 weeks ago, and he's hopeful that that initiative could be further shepherded by the EDC. But I think the regionalism is something that's coming out stronger and unanticipated by the chamber. It'll only help
Yeah,
either way, I believe.
yeah, there's some monthly meetings happening on Utah Rising just to help people get better understanding of it.
Yeah, that's important.
Yeah.
okay, let's go through report on things that happening in Payson. Mayor, maybe you could tell, I don't know how much we want to tell, but what's going on in Woodbury and
Well, there's some things that's happening behind the scenes that we really can't comment on, but it'll be very hard to think what's confidence to happen, but, we have a Maverick that's gonna be coming into town. It's down on the north end. And we're excited about Maverick coming. And of course, Jimmy John's, I think everybody may have seen the sign there on 800. And then, Movedas is, going to go in down there in between Sippin and, America First. I think there's one other company, we don't know who that is, that might be coming there. We're not really sure that just yet. But, we're excited about the companies that are coming. When those companies come, then they bring more interest and maybe a domino effect. But there are some things that are going on in the background that we really can't comment on, but if they were to happen, if it was to happen, it again, be a domino effect that attract other businesses.
So we do have some interest in the, Chris, in the pets, so. I think things are gonna move there. There's been a lot of interest lately, and I think we're gonna have something happening there.
We're hoping we can make an announcement sooner than. But again, it's like herding cats. You think you get a.
And then, the nice thing that people are looking, it's actually in the pit, and it's not the nice piece up on top too, so.
It's been a long time in coming.
So Chris will be very happy with the
Yep.
results.
Amen, amen, amen.
We're still working with, Marriott in the Fairfield Inn. We have some challenges with infrastructure because the person owns the land, but not have, hasn't put the infrastructure in, so,
And he's got that up for sale,
yeah. And we have a meeting tomorrow, I think, with the hotel people.
So we're still a good ways away on it.
Marion.
Well, if certain things can happen,
And
no.
he would start building right away.
There's a couple roadblocks.
Easton Industrial. So, right next to the Plunder Building, there's a building that's condominiumized, so it can be sold or each individual unit or rented. So if anybody knows any places that are looking, and the nice thing is they're smaller units. They have like, 16 units, but a whole bunch of them are 2,300 square feet. And so if you know people, or if you want a copy of this, maybe Robert, you can let people, the city know that they're looking for renters now. So
That's the one, that's the Plunder.
just,
Yeah.
yeah.
The brand new one.
Yeah, brand new one. Yeah, they're trying to get to the point where they can condominiumize their
Oh.
challenges with that.
They're planning on it, so I
Yes,
hope
they're planning on
I
it.
hope they get it done, but.
Who's the contact of it?
Who's representing them?
So it's, Ben Richardson.
And what's the zoning there? It's industrial.
Business park.
Business park, yeah. So anyway, so if you know of anybody, because the nice thing is,
Basically. they
you
could
get a
take
lot of
that
small
business.
businesses, which we like here in Payson, so. Robert, maybe you could give us an update on the, interchange and the TOD and the Main Street.
Definitely.
Okay,
Definitely. So there are some good things happening. Most of you know that the interchange, the request for proposals went out. Travis and I were able to be on UDOT's selection committee. A team has been selected. I don't know if it's been notified yet or anything like that. So I can't comment on that because I was on the selection team, but that should be moving forward in design, probably starting at least October 1st type of situation. So that's really good. At least the design.
so we do have money to start.
And then there's money for construction of phase one, which phase one is essentially the off ramps on the west side of the freeway. And then the new overpass, and then the road, the Nebo Beltway, the road that connects the freeway to Highway 198. That's essentially phase one.
That's absolutely necessary, because if it doesn't happen, they're just don't track it.
Yeah. So that is moving forward. Also in that area is where the front runner station is going to be. We've had some really good meetings with UTA, PRI, which is the primary landowner, UVU, which is the major player in the area, and finishing up our station area plan. It's a requirement by state law that all stations have to have a station area plan. UTA was really kind and helped us out because we were willing. They funded a study that's almost complete. I just got the draft yesterday. And so that will be reviewed and then go to the public for final comments. And then that will go to Planning Commission, City Council for adoption. Really incorporates a lot of the uses that you would want to see around a station. Residential, retail, office, all of those different types of things, open space.
Mentioned that Jeff Aitchison, he's the trustee for UTA. He was able to bring all these entities together, PRI, UVU, UDOT, and I think we even had a representative from the presidency, the
Presiding bishopric.
and UVU's they've been holding back because they don't really know themselves what that campus is going to look like. But that was the first meeting that we had everybody in the same room over maybe a 2-year period, that everybody was in that same room. So it was very helpful meeting and see the reactions of everybody involved with the information.
Yeah, some good things are happening there. The other thing that was really important to us is we know that the interchange is coming, we know that the station is coming, but we have an existing city that we need to connect, and there's quite a bit of space in between our existing city and that area. So we wanted to make sure that there's a good connection. So we got quite a bit of grant money from MAG and developed what we're calling kind of the gateway plan, which did a really good economic analysis of what we always refer to as the Flying J property. All of that area, basically from the station area and the interchange down to Main Street or to historic downtown. That plan is almost complete. It did a really good analysis of what uses we want to see along there, how we want the look and feel to reflect that small town feel as we infill all of that area in there. And so the draft is finished. And so we're reviewing that as well. And that just a lot of exciting things are going on, and really almost half a $1,000,000 worth of planning work at a very, I think our investment from the city is about 50,000 so far. So a lot of really good work setting the stage. So when people come to us, we can say, actually, this is the perfect spot for you, or maybe this isn't the greatest spot. Let's look over here type of thing. What we're doing next is kind of the final leg of that three-legged stool. And so we know that the Nebo Beltway is coming in. So we got, again, a large grant from MAG to study that entire corridor of what uses from the station area all along the corridor of the Nebo Beltway, all the way down to Highway 198, how we want all of that to look. All of those residential uses, commercial opportunities, all of those types of things. So we have 3 proposals that we're currently reviewing, and we'll be awarding somebody to start that again starting October 1st. So those 2 will finish up. This one will kind of be that last leg that incorporates all of that information.
The other thing.
Lots of good things.
Kind of in touch and connection with this is, I think I'm saying this right, UDOT has kind of hinted that they may want us to take over North Main. That's going to be a major undertaking, and so we got to take a look at it if we really want to take it over. And then we can control more what happens on North Main. That's the other.
They would write us a check. It would.
Yeah. So,
But we have a really good design for it. As we move forward, you know, that North Main corridor really sets off the tone of our city. We're gonna get this new gateway and it's gonna be a new entrance to our city. But when you really think about it, as you're driving down Main Street, headed towards historic downtown, that really sets off the look and feel of our city. And we want to keep that look and feel, but we also recognize that we're gonna have additional businesses that will move in and making sure that that look and feel remains that kind of hometown feel is really essential for us.
That would be the motivation for us to take it over, whether it's the financial do or not, another matter, but then we get to control it, and we don't have to go vegetate.
Lots of opportunities. I'll just really quickly. I think it's important that when we get accolades, we should talk about it. So, last week, the mayor, Dave, and I had the opportunity to be at the Utah League of Cities and Towns. I was in several meetings where Payson was highlighted repeatedly about specifically our investment into our city. We heard over and over again that people want to see cities investing in themselves. And the fact that we have invested so much money into our downtown, into all of these different things and into planning. And we recognize that growth is coming and we are willing to plan for it in a way that makes it positive rather than a cluster of crazy. They recognize that and they called us out several times on the good things that we're doing. So,
And one thing that is really, really exciting, we don't owe a penny on what we've done. We've been able to have some budgetary money that was unassigned to go ahead and do this food state. But everything that's been done from 100 north up to 300 south, as far as the street and Utah, well, Utah may go different, but we've been able to benefit from the lobbyists that we've hired, and they've been able to get us some money that we wouldn't have benefited from otherwise. So citizens of Payson are benefiting greatly because we don't owe any money on it all. And we will continue to go. We've got some more money as a result of their efforts to go from 300 to 500 south on Main Street. And hopefully we're working on getting some more money to go from 500 to 700. And at that point in time, we've knocked out all of Main Street with the exception of North Main.
Then we're doing the parking lots.
Yeah, we're doing parking lots, the backside of the backside of the library and that little breezeway that'll come through, that'll be remodeled as well, you know, they'll by the library.
Do we own the parking lot behind, like Lou's and?
Yeah, we do to a certain extent. There are some
Portions of all of them.
Yeah,
Most of it.
yeah, most of it. So yeah, that's
Like the red tree down as well.
yeah, that eventually, that's one of the should be.
Yeah, so this spring, it's gonna be the library parking lot behind and that breezeway, and up the Fifth. Yeah, south, that we have money budget for that. So we're getting close.
So go back.
We were hoping that the money that we got from the legislature would do the whole thing, but everything skyrocketed every cost.
So if you have some contacts, pressure them and say, Payson can use the money very wisely and we invest well.
But we have, oh, go ahead. I was just gonna say, we have focused a lot on infrastructure, and that's always a challenge. We're an older city. There's aging infrastructure, and so since COVID, we've had a lot of grant money. We've had other things to get a lot of the infrastructure done, but there's still a lot of work. But getting the rest of Main Street done, and when Central Utah put their water line in, and they improved a lot of our city systems, and we paid them back that way. But I think we made some good strides. Growth can only come if there's the infrastructure to handle it. So it's a big undertaking, but I appreciate the staff and the council mayor, because we have been able to get a lot of grant money and for planning and the infrastructure and stuff like that. We'd never be able to do that without it. So it's been good, but there's still definite challenges that are still on the horizon. That the water department spends all day, every day fixing leaks. You fix one part of the road, and because of the asphalt stuff, it causes another leak somewhere else because of the aging infrastructure. So
Just so you know, too, we've spent in excess of $1.4 million on roads, just the regular neighborhood roads. people are always complaining about what they look like. It's a long-term process. It doesn't happen overnight. And, there's quite a list, I can't give you a list of roads that they not only are, putting a slurry over to increase the life, but the mill those roads and some of that is, you gotta consider what's underneath it too, because you don't want to do a real nice road, but you don't have to next week go pick it up. So $1.4 million failed what, by comparison to what Spanish forecasts, because they have a bigger budget to go by, but $1.4 million is pretty good expenditure on our local folks.
So going back to what Robert said about accolades, when we had this, UVU class for basically classes,
Architecture studio.
yeah, it's architectural studio, but the title of it is making cities or something like that. But, he said, if you had stock, I'd be buying stock in Payson, so. Wow.
The other accolade I don't want to forget is we're now a healthy city, and part of healthy Utah as well. That was announcement was made up at the league this past week or two.
What is that?
It's just the cities that have the ability to do health, mental and physical well-being for their citizens. There's some criteria we have to meet that criteria, and so we become a healthy city within the healthy Utah structure, and we can stay there for 3 years and then we'll be out after 2 years. But that was a good accolade.
So, yeah, we are getting known around the state, which is really nice, so. Another thing that's happening, Spring Lake City is gonna be on the ballot, become their own city. That'll be on the ballot this fall. The gun range, I guess y'all know about the gun range, so they pulled out, they were gonna come into Payson. Or they said Utah even, but I'm trying to help them look for some land between Mona and here, which would benefit us, so. But probably the biggest reason is, there's lots of complaints. We have an open house and lots of complaints follow the people out in that area. But probably the biggest reason, and I've talked to our legislators like Romney's group and Burgess Owens group and the state, is just the BLM process. They could not even get an appraisal done on that property. The BLM rejected one of their appraisers that they say is their approved appraiser. They could not even get an appraisal approved by the BLM. So how do you even move forward if you can't even get an appraisal and they're buying the land? So
What's really disappointing now that it's kind of too late, when they laid it all short, some of the people out what's not thinking, oh, it's now that the motion's out of it. They did a little bit of research on their own. They thought, well, geez, this is a pretty good idea. Well, they laid it all short.
So anyway, that's kind of sad. That would have been a big boost for this area, but we'll move forward with other things. We're still working on the motocross track up there with Rocky Mountain EDB. That'll be nice.
Is that required BLM grant for that one?
That's BLM. It's a little different because you can only lease it because there's mining claims on it.
Oh, okay.
So it can only be leased where they were gonna buy it. I think one of the big, I'm trying to read between the lines. I think the biggest problem with the appraisal on the BLM land for the gun range was there's some lead contamination. And they didn't know how to address that in the appraisal. The appraiser figured he did, but they didn't want, the BLM wanted just somebody just play like it wasn't, or say it was there and I don't know the whole reason, but it has something to do with that.
And it's a
lead
danger,
contamination.
and it's a danger to the residential area, like the areas that are above the levels that are safe for residential areas. So it was,
Is that a natural thing or is it?
no, they've been shooting up there for
That's where the.
hundreds of years. And direct result from that. But that, and when I told some of the residents out at West Mountain that were like, ardently against this, and then they started to come around with it, and I told them, hey, there's 2 areas that this has to be addressed, but there's lead contamination. Well, why didn't you tell us? We did, we just weren't listening.
You chose not to listen.
That's right.
FTEC's moving along, they should be done early next year. We're still working on doing the innovation center in that building. Well, some of the main things are going on. We have a lot going on, right, Robert?
Yes, me too.
Can I make an interjection here, because I'm gonna have to leave here in a second.
Yeah.
Just curious, if you all are paying attention to how AI is influencing or connecting this city at all. It's amazing, and I've been going to some classes and just trying to understand a little bit, but I just, in the last 5 minutes, I typed in, what are the economic development strengths of Payson, Utah? It tells me, and it's relatively accurate. What are the economic industries within Payson's? I typed in, what are the challenges, economic development, infrastructure. That's the first thing that comes up. I would suggest highly that you're paying attention. You can chat GPT, you start typing in things about Payson, because it aggregates all information basically from the internet. It's not always accurate. And that's part of the opportunity, is to get the right information into the system that it will aggregate from that tells a story. Because right now, a lot of times, as a consultant, I'm doing 80–90% of my work before I even come see you. And so again, the opportunities for proactive recruiting and all that goes along with outreach is important. But AI is, I think, blowing this up in a big way. So I would suggest strongly pay attention.
So you're suggesting in the messaging, like on, because it does pull a lot, aggregate a lot from the internet, that our website maybe contain more of that and be a little more robust?
Well, I think really initially it's type in the same questions that I put in and read it and say, is this accurate? I think it's pretty close. And when I just, I checked this in the last 5 minutes, it's given me pages, but it's categorized, it's done really, really well, but it's again, pulling a lot of information. But again, I think if you read it and it's accurate, then good things are happening. If there's inaccuracies in it, then trying to figure that out is super important.
Well, one thing too is if you're typing in stuff, like I do a lot of my grants on there, well, it's pulling all that information I'm putting in there into this. So anytime you put information in, it's not just taking off the website, it's taking off what people put in there. So if you want to just put stuff in there, it'll grab it.
Yeah, you have to be careful. This is coming, I'll leave you with this, which I thought was very powerful. They said, like the internet, back when it's starting, it's improved. And this is the same. It's as bad as it will ever be at this point. It will only get better because it will learn more. That's right. Good idea for us to be involved in influencing them.
Just one real quick, infrastructure is always a problem. And, there are some programs out there that we're currently looking at that, yes, they are, will be in debt for it, but the infrastructure, if we don't have the infrastructure in place, we kind of held hostage by the developers. They put in there and they determine how much density that they need to fence it. But if we can get into a position where we control that, and the infrastructure is that we were able to put in, then we're in a better place than we would be otherwise. We get to control that. So there are some programs out there we're looking at.
Okay, I know we're running out of times. Here's another one. From our retreat, well, actually, okay, we're in talk about retreat, so, do I have a motion to approve the minutes from our retreat?
So moved.
Okay, we have a second? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. So, from the retreat, one of the things we asked was how this committee can do better. So I went through and took all the different things, some main categories. But, you can read through these, we don't have a lot of time to go through them, but I think the main one that came up was assignments with accountability, take actionable items, document, measure, follow through, focus and action, know your assignments and follow through on them. So that's one thing that next time I'd like to spend our time is, and I'll send this out to everybody, but let's go through how this committee to be more effective. And so we spread out through the community and not just come have a meeting. To me, that doesn't really do much good, just come have a meeting and talk about what we're doing, and it's nice that for some of us to know what's going on, but to be effective, to really make change, we need to have action. So I think the idea is, helping these subcommittees and then also having action items for everybody to go out and do something, accomplish something. I mean, I know we're talking about having some meetings with businesses and go out and talking to certain business out assignments, so we're gonna be a lot more accountable, and I'm gonna have to be a lot more accountable to send reminders out and, things like that, because instead of just once a month, here's our meeting, but this is the assignment for this month, every week or something like that, so let's talk about that next time and come with ideas how to make this committee just really, really pop and help the city with economic development and have, but the assignment for this month is, or for next few weeks, is find at least one person to invite to the golf event that'll affect and help Payson become a more economically viable, so. That's all I have. Anything else?
I just gonna mention it, we've got some nice accolades, maybe we ought to give us some talking points, those accolades that we can share with people as we talk to people.
Sure.
Something that we can take with us and share as we.
Yeah, let people know we are spending $10.4 million.
Need specific points like that.
I can get it, I get it.
The sheet of talking. What do you got there?
I can get that from Kent, I already got one.
So you did, okay.
Another thing too, just go along with that, is we need to get quotes and put it on our website. So accolades, or businesses are doing well, like Payson, we just need to do that. In fact, we do have some videos from the, Adventure Day, scavenger hunt. And we have some pretty nice videos, and we need to put those up on the website.
Kate can help us with those.
The Sandy City Mayor gave us one of the best I've ever heard. She came to the salmon supper and she's like, that was the most Norman Rockwellian experience of Americana I've ever.
That's what we want here.
See, and I got to know her, I had to go all the way to, where'd we go, in Alabama.
Well, we were airport buddies in Las Vegas.
Yeah, oh, yeah, that's right, as well, and we had her come to the salmon supper and Draper American and salmon supper, so we're getting some good.
I sat next to the Linden City Mayor, and the silent stuff with her husband, maybe I could do that.
She's remarkable. First time she's come.
Yeah.
So do I have a motion to adjourn? Okay, second? Okay, all in favor? All right. Thanks, everybody.